Prop 25 is about bail and was placed on the ballot by people who collected more than 600,000 signatures from registered voters in California. And it asked voters, do you want to replace the money bail system with a system based on public safety risk? So today, when someone's arrested, several months can pass before the court hearing takes place to determine their guilt and their sentence. If the court determines that they're a low risk to public safety and that it's likely they'll return for trial, they're released and trusted to return for their court date. In other cases, the court requires a bail payment of cash or property to be made to the court before they're released to await their trial. The court repays that bail payment to suspects after their trials are complete, regardless of the outcome of the trial. Suspects can post bail with their own money, or they can go through a bail bond agent who pays the full bail amount to the court in exchange for a non-refundable fee collected from the suspect. There's no law limiting that fee, but typically it's 10% of whatever is paid to the court for bail. The right to bail and release before trial is not available to suspects involved in the death penalty, in violent felonies on another person, on threats of violence against another person, or felony sexual assault. In 2018, about $6 billion in bail was posted in the state courts. And in 2018, the state legislature approved a law called SB 10 that eliminates cash bail and replaces it with risk assessments to determine whether a suspect should be released before trial and under what conditions. Suspects with low risk of failing to appear in court and a low risk to public safety would be released from jail, while those deemed high risk would remain in jail. Suspects of misdemeanors would be released without a risk assessment. This law will not go into effect unless Prop 25 passes. And that's because California allows voters to veto a law that has already been approved by the legislature by approving a referendum. So if the voters approve a referendum, then they can veto a law that has been approved by the legislature. Bail bond companies have used this referendum process to stop SB 10 from going into effect until voters approve it. So Prop 25 is a referendum. SB 10 will go into effect if voters approve Prop 25. SB 10 will not go into effect if voters vote if Prop 25 fails. Today, there's no study from neutral experts on how early release and community supervision affect crime rates, one way or the other. So Prop 25 proposes that suspects who qualify to be released from jail while they're awaiting trial would no longer be allowed to use cash or property bail. Instead, the court would determine whether the person should be free or stay in jail based on their risk to public safety and the likelihood that they'll return for trial. The estimated fiscal effects are in the possible mid-hundreds of millions to administer it, and then decreases of the high tens of millions of dollars annually into the county jail costs. So a yes vote means you want to eliminate the money bail system and replace it with a system based on the assessment of the public safety and flight risk of an arrest suspect. No vote means you want the current cash bail system to remain in place, which will veto the changes that have been approved by the legislature in SB 10. So, support for 25 totals $8.3 million and comes from individuals: Connie Ballmer, Steve Ballmer, John Arnold, and then there's also some money from Action Now and the SEIU. People who support 25 say the cash bail system favors defendants who can pay for bail and denies release for poor people. They also say Prop 25 will leave jail space to those who are truly dangerous instead of the poor. People against Prop 25 have donated $9 million, and that has come from Triton Management Services, Bankers Insurance, AIA Holdings, American Surety Company, and Lexington National Insurance, so mostly insurance companies. People who oppose 25 say that eliminating bail will cost thousands of jobs in the bail bond and insurance industries, and they also say that the risk assessment program is more expensive to implement than the bail system.